Why haven't we heard anything about the Mercedes deal? What is going on with that? Well, the CEO on the 14th just said that this morning, all right, on the 14th, this morning, we've signed another car company to use our battery swap, and we'll announce them one by one. So that means that they have a lot of things in their bag that they haven't let other people know about yet. He also said that there's a big line of auto companies waiting to sign with NIO to use their battery swap, and also because battery swap is a very technologically complex thing, there's a very bright future ahead for this, and we will announce these partnerships one by one. It is mostly because they have a lot on their plates right now. They're not announcing these partnerships yet. Just today, NIO is doing a 1,000 kilometer live stream. The CEO himself and some other high up management people, they're in the car in the ET7 with a 150 kilowatt hour battery pack, driving from Shanghai to Fujian, 1,000 kilometer road trip. They started very early in the morning and they're still going right now as of recording. It's like over 12 hours of driving. Pretty insane. And the car itself has had very good performance stats, around 13 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and they've gotten about 700 kilometers, and there's still like 30 something percent charge left in the battery. So very good performing battery pack indeed. But they're very busy, and then after that they also have NIO Day that they gotta launch a lot of new products. I mean, if they launch that new car, the ET9, along with the 150 at the same time, and just has a killer range and killer specs, killer acceleration, 3 revolutionary new aspects about the car that will change the whole entire auto industry, that's going to be pretty big. That's going to be pretty big. It looks like they're gearing everything up for one explosive day at NIO Day. That's going to be pretty nice. So far we've got Chang'an and Geely as the signed official partners, and then a couple other ones that are in talks. Porsche, Mercedes. We've heard that Rising Auto is perhaps also going to use NIO's battery swap. So that's SAIC. And to consolidate some of the Mercedes stuff. All right, some people think, why is it not happening? Well, I'm telling you, some sales reps here are already celebrating. They're posting online saying, whoa, Mercedes is the next partner with NIO in terms of battery swap. They're already posting that. I'm not sure if that's to get more sales or what, but it's probably not false. You know, there's probably definitely people that know more than I do. They are in talks. Have they already signed it? Could Mercedes be the partner that signed on the 14th? Maybe not. All right, but you know, there's definitely more coming. All right, there's definitely more coming. Now, as to when we'll hear about these announcements, I'm expecting after NIO Day, because they just got so much on their plates right now, and or maybe even during NIO Day if it's a very big partnership. So I'm thinking after NIO Day. And what's really cool is that on NIO Day they're also going to launch Gen 4 swap stations. So that's going to be a big game changer as well. And Gen 4 swap stations are supposed to be like the public swap stations that everybody can use. So maybe it'll have even more battery capacity, even faster swapping times, but we'll see. The CEO did say that on the 14th they signed a new deal with another partner, but could there be more? Of course there could be more. They're just not telling people about it. And this is very interesting how this was announced by him, like sort of in a Q&A session. Somebody was asking him about these partnerships and he just answered it like casually. It's very casual. This is what's really shocking. Normally people would think this is something that's very, very big and you got to make a big announcement about it, but he's just very casual about it, which is very, very interesting. That tells me that there's definitely more in the bag, and he tells people there's a line of car companies waiting to use that. So I wouldn't be too surprised, and this is pretty interesting because we're on the cusp of NIO becoming essentially the standardized version of gas stations, but for battery swapping. So that's going to be very interesting. What's really nice about how NIO is doing all this is that they basically, NIO CEO said, we're just giving them our sub-brand battery pack and then the configuration for the swapping mechanism, and they can do whatever they want and build whatever they like. It's sort of like just a package. You give it to someone and then they can build around that package. So this is very nice, and they've made it very easy for other auto companies to essentially incorporate NIO's swapping mechanism into their vehicle, whatever design they want to do. It's incredible, and they don't have to worry about batteries. They just have to think about design and motors and interior and all that kind of features, etc. The battery and charging and swapping is pretty much all solved with just this way of doing it. So it's going to be actually easier for those partners, battery swap partners, to build their EVs, because it's like some of the most difficult things already done. All right, the configuration beneath the car, it's pretty much all done for them. They just have to build everything else. They just have to build a shell of the car, which is also very nice. And he also said that the partners so far have not found it difficult to work with what they've given them. So it's sort of like just a very nice starter package that they're giving everybody, and they can just build cars based on that, which is very, very interesting. And don't forget one really important thing about this. NIO is selling that battery pack to them. NIO gets paid for using the patents, and NIO also gets paid for the battery pack that they sell to them. They get paid twice before even touching a battery swap station, which is pretty amazing as well. So there's going to be plenty of ways that NIO is going to get money in the future. And like the CEO said in his message to investors, I'm not sure if you watched that video, go watch that video if you haven't done so, but he said you got to look where things are going to go and not where things are right now. All right, have a long-term mindset, and if you like the long-term prospect, then you'll support them. And in my opinion, you know, where this is all headed, that's absolutely incredible. And it's a self-perpetuating thing. Once more people use it, it just becomes a no-brainer. You either try to build several thousand swap stations yourself, which is going to cost you a fortune, or you can just simply join NIO's swap network. Which one's easier? Of course, joining NIO Swap Network is much easier. That brings me to the point that there's still a lot of misconceptions. Some people still think that NIO can only swap and cannot charge, which is really, really dumb, and thinking that swapping is stupid and that charging is much better than swapping. And they have that opinion. Well, with NIOs, you can also charge, which is where that argument breaks down. It's not like you can only charge, you can only swap and not charge. You can do both. All right, so this is where he even said on stage that this is where the big misconception is, which is very dumb. And even if you're comparing NIO with all the other auto companies, NIO has over 7,000 patents. So this is an incredible feat. And having those patents means that it's very difficult for someone else to do what NIO is doing without violating those patents and essentially paying them money, and it'll be very difficult to enter into the battery swap game. And they also have to pay NIO fines perhaps for using those patents, violating those patents. So why not just join NIO? It's going to be a heck of a lot easier to just join NIO than do everything themselves. So this is where things are headed. There's also a lot of misconception, people saying that from now on, NIO's vehicles are going to be fighting for batteries with those taxis and those Ubers, those Uber cars. They're called 网约车, which is also very laughable because NIO has stated that there's going to be the public network that everybody can swap at, and then the private network for NIO only. And sure, that statement might be valid at some of those public swap stations that everybody can go and swap at, but mostly at private ones that are NIO only, you're not going to see any of this kind of fighting for battery kind of situation. And NIO swap stations, they can hold a lot of batteries, 20, all right? So you're not really going to see the situation where there aren't any batteries. So they got a lot of these deals coming up. There's going to be way more partnerships in the future. I'm sure every single auto company is looking at NIO right now for what they're doing. And after NIO Day, NIO is going to get even more buzz and even more media attention because of the products that they're going to launch. It's just going to be absolutely incredible. Everybody's going to be talking about Neo, and also battery swap. Everybody's going to be talking about battery swap. It's going to be just incredible. Damn, I can't wait for this. This is going to be so nice. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.